And we're live. Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to another Jedi Academy, the show where we answer your questions about Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. I am Ranger J 1999, your host, and joining me is my heterosexual life mate, the one and only Dr. Finn, Medicine Woman.
Hi.
And welcome to the show. If you're new to the show and wondering how this works, it's a straight Q&A show. And if you have questions, we're going to try to get you the answers that you need. And the way it works is all you need to do is put your questions in the chat. Make sure you put the word question in front of your statement. And that helps us because that's how we scoop it up to filter out your questions. So if you have a question for us or our panel, who, well, we're a little short of the panel today. But nonetheless, we will persevere and get to all your questions and do the best we can. If you know a little bit about the game, we're not totally worthless. Sort of. Maybe.
I am.
Yeah, okay, so we're in trouble. We're in big trouble. No, I'm kidding. We'll get your questions, so go ahead and get those in. Glad to see everybody here this morning. Hope everybody's practicing the social distancing and washing your hands and all that other good stuff. But we're excited to have you guys here. We really appreciate you spending a Saturday morning with us, and hopefully we can accommodate you by getting your answers that you need to your questions. So start getting those questions in to chat, and we will start scooping those up. As a show reminder, right after this, I'm going to go right to my GAC as we continue doing our caber. Have to maintain our caberness. It's very important. Just can't go around walking around doing shopping during these corona times without being caber. So that being said, usually at this time of the show, we ask, what's on your mind? But since it's just me and Finn, hey Finn.
Yeah.
What's on your mind about the game?
Nightbot isn't working.
I know, Nightbot. We've been having a lot of problems with stuff lately, folks. Let me just tell you something. YouTube has been really pissing me off. Nightbot.
It's working now. It's working now.
Yeah, it was working yesterday, but yeah, I understand because oh boy. But we got the new announcement for the Mandalorian. So we know that that's around the corner sometime soon. Soonish, soon TM. And we all continue on with our Galactic Legends and farming those characters and working on that stuff. Hope everybody's TV is going well. Hope everybody's GAC is going well. So stuff continues on in the game. We're waiting to see what's going to happen. But we're excited for the Mandalorian stuff. So yeah. So anything on your mind, Finn? That's just kind of what I've been dealing with. I gotta say that paper rock scissor thing is just, oh god. Just, oh jeez. Words are hard. You sit there and faint and faint and faint. Okay, you get an opening and then, oh no, faint again. Just
Yeah.
But I'm almost done.
I mean,
I should have Ray done by this weekend, Finn. I'm very excited because I just have
hooray!
a couple of tier 2 more. I have 2 more tier 2 battles, and then I'll have 5 tier 1s. So hopefully I can get those knocked out the next day or two. Well, by tomorrow I'll have it done. So I'm hoping.
Yeah, I mean, only thing on my mind really about the game as it stands right now is what they're gonna do with the Mandalorian. I think they're off to a good start, right?
Yes.
Of course, the announcement is good. I think the character models that they showed for Cara Dune was good.
Yep.
I think that was a fear of a lot of people after seeing what they did with Rey. So I think they did well with Cara Dune. We'll see what their kits and everything are, what they try to do. Because my guess is that we're going to need the IG-11, Quill, Mando, Cara Dune, and Apollo Creed, and it's going to be those 5 in order to get a legendary Moff Gideon. That's kind of my initial thought about where it's going to be. So we'll see. We'll see how it plays out and what the plan is that they have for it. Because I really hope it's not going to kind of dead end. And by that I mean like the scoundrels that they introduced for the Han Solo, right? I think a lot of us were hoping somehow the characters that they released, like the Prepare team, was going to get you like a Dryden Voss, or maybe even get you the new Maul, right? Because we saw the Maul at the end of Solo. We didn't get any of that. We got the prepared characters, and it just kind of stuck there. So we have this faction that doesn't really seem to have a purpose, which kind of puts them in the same, unfortunately, puts them in the same usage as Jawas at this point, where it's like, why, what is going on with these characters? What is going to be the end game for these? And with Jawas, at least they were introduced at the beginning of the game, so no one really thought too much of it. It's like, oh, they're just introducing characters. Han Solo, they actually went out of their way to add the characters and did nothing with it. They had so much possibility there that they could have introduced, and really they did absolutely nothing with the Solo characters. So I'm hoping the Mandalorian does not end that way. I'm hoping that the Mandalorian characters do have a build up to a legendary character of some kind. And again, I'm free to play. I'm not worried about getting it the first time, but I'm looking for what they are doing with these characters and how they're making you work for them and you building upon them. So really hoping that it's Mandalorian characters, primarily the light side ones, and then you have the opportunity to get them off Gideon. They can still introduce other dark side ones in particular, like they could introduce like the Flame Trooper and some of the generic Scout Troopers or something like that, right? So that's my hope for what they're going to do. We'll see. They could go to a different direction, and I still may be pleased about it. That's just my initial idea. So I'm just hoping they have an end game plan with this compared to Han Solo. Yes. That's my main hope right now with all that.
All right. Looks like we've got Barry Bonds, steroid version, joining us. Barry Bonds, how's life being in retirement? I didn't know you were playing this game.
Good. You
sound white, too. Man, those steroids really took a toll on you, buddy.
Yeah, I've actually taken my hand in a new career at Post Baseball. For those you guys that haven't seen my movies.
Are those adult movies?
This has taken a...
Who's asking?
I'm just saying.
You guys are having a nice discussion as you wait on your tardy panelists to show up whenever they want.
Yeah.
Such as myself. And I ruined it immediately for you.
No, it's fine. It's fine, Barry. We understand. No, we know that's not Barry Bonds. That's good old Maurice from Operation Metaverse. How are you today, my friend?
I'm very good. How are you guys?
We're doing good. Just discussing, the Mando stuff, and then my journey of these tickets and battles. Just how much I thoroughly enjoy rock paper scissors, and glad that I have that done.
Yeah.
God. I have faint in my sleep now. Every time I wake up, I'm like,
yeah.
Now you guys have been putting out some stuff with like counters to to the Galactic Legends and stuff. I've been telling people that there are counters, but they're super, super soft. Sometimes they work, and sometimes they work bad.
It depends on how many characters you want to use. Like, how many teams are you willing to break up?
Right.
Like, I'll take Wat Tambor, General Kenobi, Gas, and then Jedi Revan and Hermit Yoda. That's a great counter, but you're going to break up tons of teams. It's been interesting.
Yeah, it's going to be a while before we see something hard countering the hell out of these things. And even the some of the videos I've watched on some of the counter teams, the success rate is still high. Highest I've seen is like 40-something%. Like just roughly under half the time it wins and half the time it doesn't win. So, yeah, it's one thing if you have your own Galactic Legend that you can counter something, but yeah, trying to use some of the other stuff is a little bit more difficult. I was just curious. I fought one the other day with my gas just to see what would happen. It didn't turn out well on many occasions. There, good old Maurice, just straight up, just beating, oh boy. It didn't go well, is basically the point.
No one's really... I don't think anyone's really decided on what's the best Rey and Kylo team, right? So, I mean, it's tough to build a counter for this revolving door of team comps. Like what you build one, it works for something in your arena, you're like, great, but then your Grand Arena opponent puts in something completely different, and it gets destroyed. It makes it fun, exciting, but it can be frustrating, especially for those that don't have or aren't really pursuing a Galactic Legend. It can be frustrating, but there's definitely options, and I mean there are people putting out videos every single day.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, so just understand there's people hard at work, but I don't think until we get some more content and stuff that we're really gonna see a hard counter for Rey and Kylo for a little bit. Especially when you talk about stuff like GAC and things of that nature. So, and then we have the Mando stuff. I was listening to you guys on Operation Metaverse on Thursday. On a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you so far, good old Maurice, for this new Mando content?
We'll go. The content being the characters, yes.
Yes.
Like no speculation of anything else. Just
yeah, we don't know their kits or anything like that. Just that they're going into the Mando direction. 8? Okay, good.
I'll go 8.
Yeah.
Because I think there's some interesting character faction tags. Like Kara will be like a scoundrel rebel. Grief could be potentially, bounty hunter, perhaps scoundrel. Well, he will be scoundrel, but maybe there might be some cross synergies, like cross faction stuff. I think the light side, dark side is very interesting. Which faction these characters will be? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, they were saying something. Someone said something the other day about neutral tags. I'm like, I don't think anything going to get in the.
Well, they got to pick light side, dark side. Like, who's going to want to buy any character that you can't even use in TB?
Yeah.
So you got to pick one or both, maybe. I don't know.
Is that an inherent flaw with the whole concept of the neutral tag TVs?
Well, even the neutral, even Wampa's neutral, but he's dark side. Visa's is neutral, but she's light. You can still use those characters in the TV.
But what do you think they're going to do with the tag? I guess is my question. They added the neutral tag. You can actually filter your characters using neutral, right? But you're right. TB is an issue because you won't be able to use those characters in a week-long game mode every 2 weeks, even if you have it 7-star. So do you think that's a flaw on their part for even adding the concept of a neutral character at this point? Or maybe TB would allow you light side and neutral and dark side and neutral every single time? Well, like, what could they do?
I think if they were to introduce it as the neutral tag can be either, then we'd be in good shape. I don't think they'll go back and fix Wampa and Visas, and I think that's it. Is there another one? I'm missing one. But
a lot of there's ships that some people thought might be neutral potentially. I remember when it first came out, weren't a lot of people saying T3 should be a neutral droid?
Yeah.
I'll leave that to you guys because I'm not as familiar with like all the Old Republic stuff, but I'm pretty sure there were a lot of people at the time saying that T3 should have had the neutral tag based on what he did. So
see, that's a problem though with the neutral tag. Neutral means you can use it for light side or dark side. It's just a character you can use on both factions, but they've never truly created a neutral tag character where you could use it for light side or dark side. Mainly because they've made synergies, like you just said, Good Maurice, so that it's like the kits kind of force you to have a light side or dark side tag.
Yeah, like I don't know if they could go back and change that. I don't know. There's a lot of characters in Star Wars that could fit into a neutral tag, that's for sure. But I don't think they're gonna really start releasing those characters. I do kind of fear, what I think I caught the tail end of them just releasing a bunch of marquees and then doing some insignificant event like the smuggler event, for the smugglers. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm a little fearful of myself.
Yeah, so. I don't mind these characters to be marquee, and even as Finn just said, doing some kind of legendary for it. I think that'd be cool, and I'm fine with that. I don't think any of us have a problem with that. Getting the characters, farming them, eventually doing to a legendary. I don't think unless they do another Galactic Legend, God help us, Go Maurice, if they do that.
If they do go all in on this Mandalorian show, I can see Moff Gideon for sure being a Galactic Legend. Because the Empire needs some help, the faction itself.
Yeah.
I tend to think we're going to get a little bit of a rework or hookup. A lot of people like to look towards the weekly shipments as indicators of what's coming, and you see all the Galactic Republic in there. We're getting the Empire Strikes Back 40th anniversary coming up in the celebration within the game, they said. They've hinted at the TIE Bomber in the past, the post, so I don't know. This would be a big quarter.
Yeah, I my thing with the Empire Strikes Back, because they did announce that as part of it, right, with the 40th anniversary and things of that nature. My thing was that I think we're gonna get a bunch of ships.
Could be, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe we finally get Red 5. We get the TIE Bomber, something along those lines, right? That you can use in the game, because we're lacking on ships, if anything. So I think if they do the Mando content and they do some ships, start getting some ships going into the game, that'll be a positive step for this company. Don't you agree?
Yeah, and I think last night on the Shattered Order podcast, Wink and Goodnight Punk were speculating that's a similar thing. Like, just they'll bring out an Empire ship or two, and then you'll combine all the Empire ships they already have, and then you can go for the Red 5, which could potentially be a legendary, is what they're predicting as well. So, because we got enough Empire ships to get started. We got the Palpatine shuttle, which not a lot of people really have put much effort in. Like, you don't drop what you're doing and go after, the Ebon Hawk or the Emperor shuttle. Like, you finish what you're working on and get those when you can. But I'd imagine some people need that. And give us a TIE Bomber and maybe one more new ship to chase and buy. So we'll see. Red 5 would be cool, though.
Yes.
Hoth Rebel, the Hoth reworks, perhaps. Leia desperately needs one.
Yeah, they're not
never been good.
Yeah, they're not good. Yeah, they're not good. Okay. With that, I think we can start doing some questions, Finn. I'm seeing a lot of questions coming in, so let's start rock and rolling. You just start throwing them out there to me and good old Maurice.
Sure. So good old Maurice, first question to you is from Skywalker Vader. He says, with the Mandalorian content coming out, would you start gearing up and leveling up your bounty hunters?
I wouldn't do anything. I would, maybe take a look at what your bounty hunters need and just start hoarding it. Because who knows? I mean, maybe you don't like the Grief leadership. Maybe it doesn't work for you. Maybe the Mandalorian and Cara Dune synergize with a whole different faction. Maybe they're better with the scoundrels. You don't know until they come out. Just if you're not going after Galactic Legend or you're not going after gas and you have the luxury of just hoarding right now, I'd just hoard. I'd imagine we get a kit released probably in next week or the week after would be my guess. So just, hoard stun guns, hoard stun cuffs, hoard Carbonis.
Yeah, unfortunately, I can't do that right now because I'm working on this thing called Galactic Ray. And
yeah, it's
400 stun guns. Sweet Jesus, 700 Kyrotechs. I need this. I need say no more. Those characters suck up your gear. Just like a bad vacuum cleaner. All right. All right.
Okay.
Next question.
Next question, Ranger. This is to you from Bill Buttlicker.
Oh no.
And the question is, with yet another Dev Q&A, how many art questions this time around? Oh, and don't forget, we also had the audio artist this time. Is it just me that sees these things as a joke?
No, pretty much you've got me and Finn doing what we do with the Dev Q&A because it kind of is. That's why we kind of have fun with it, with the voices and the characters we do when we do the Q&A. And we'll do it live. We'll go through all the questions and we'll have characters that you see us do answering the questions. I mean, the format itself is not conducive to really being a true Q&A. I just, we've had problems with it for a while. I'm not going to get into that, but they avoid a lot of the tough questions. They go with a lot of easy questions. They filter it out, and I mean, it doesn't feel like to me that they take it seriously. Because, when you sit there and say, we're doing this during our lunch hour, it kind of tells me that it's really not that of important to Capital Games. It's not.
Yeah, I know. Who would do a stream during the lunch hour? I mean, seriously.
Mm. Well, Finn, we don't own a multi-billion-dollar company, and we're not.
I just had to throw that in.
Yeah, but there's a big difference between what we do with our lunch hour. Which is actually better if you put it that way, because we actually answer questions live and answer all the questions for the most part that we can get to and try to make the attempt. But this stuff, I mean, Good on Maurice. I mean, how do you feel about the Q&A stuff? I mean, me and Finn have fun with it, and we do it for the fans and stuff. But I mean, there's a lot of art and now sound questions coming in. It's like, oh Lord, how many sound questions?
What you guys do with it is what you guys do with it is amazing. It's entertaining. It's hilarious. It's great. I love what you guys do with it. But like, you guys say it all the time. Either it's a stupid format. Either do a live stream, like an official live stream, or do just like the traditional post people's questions. Just do a forum post. Like, there's no need to have it live, and I don't know. I feel like it's stupid format.
Yeah,
very dumb. But I'm on the. I don't know. It's better than nothing. I'm glad they're at least attempting to communicate, whether it be with screen questions or whatever the case. I mean, it's whatever. I mean, it's no different than any interview, even like the original Game Changers. They did those videos, they did those Q&As with, I think, Jesse at the time, and all those questions, were probably pre-approved, and it's all the same. But
yeah,
being more accessible would be nice.
Yes,
I'm not saying Mark Dickinson or anybody really high up, but maybe like Top Hat used to do the podcast. Maybe have a couple faces of CG that just go around and promote the game and know which questions to answer, know which ones not to, and just hit certain content. Let be accessible, I guess, is the problem right now.
I mean, the thing that they could do right now, and this is simple, just come on Saturday Jedi Academy. Call it the Dev Q&A Jedi Academy. We have one or two of the devs in here. Me and Finn can just ask the questions. The devs don't have to answer everything. You can say, I can't answer that, or I don't know. That's an acceptable answer, or I'm not able to answer that, like especially if it's something about future content. I mean, that's totally appropriate, right? If someone says, hey, when's Jedi Luke coming? Like, we can't answer that. That's a fair response to a question like that. But if someone's asking about past things that have happened and stuff, I mean, we can filter it out, and they can answer it however they want. I mean, I'm making this simple for CG. They can come on this show with some of the former Game Changers like yourself and others. We can filter questions. You guys can answer questions. They can put out their content. Easy. They don't have to do things. They just have to get in a Zoom call, and we would hook their ass up. So the format with the Q&A the way it is now, it doesn't work. It just doesn't. It doesn't seem serious.
I'm gonna point this out too, because I think this needs to be said. The art thing is one thing, right? I mean, it's fine to have art questions. Yes, they do over focus on it, right?
They way over focus on it.
How many people have this game on mute because they're playing it in the bathroom, because they're playing it while watching TV, right? And now they're bringing an audio artist onto the Q&A? Really? Like, is there a question, how do you feel about the fact that most people play this game muted? Like, what exactly are they planning to get from the audio artist? Because I understand they probably put some effort into the game. Most of the people can't even play it on stream because it copyright flags it as Star Wars content and, like, demonetizes YouTube videos. Mm-hmm. So streamers don't have the audio on. So the audio isn't even on stream content. And most people are trying to play it like in secret or while they're doing some other stuff and don't have the audio on. I mean, Girl Maurice, do you play with the audio on?
The only time I use audio in this game is when I'm unlocking a legendary character, because I missed, like, Thrawn came with like special music or something. I missed it, so I don't ever want to do that again. That's it. Every other time is on mute. Yeah. And I make sure it's on mute, because like you said, I can't just be like sitting at the office and all of a sudden like, bah, 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 bah.
What are you doing there, Girl Maurice? Last week's totals sounds like lightsabers. That's just the sound he used from a mouse click.
Like, can you just imagine just being in a stall and all of a sudden you just hear dun, 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 coming from somebody inside of a bathroom stall?
Calm down there, buddy. We're gonna be all right. We're gonna get through this.
Yeah. There was that bug where the audio always came on when the game came on a few months ago. That got several times. Whoa,
it's just
that music. Like,
it's just. And I mean, I understand they might have some audio questions and that kind of stuff, but really, why are you bringing an audio artist on? I know Sven is gone, right? So they might be just looking to add another dev and increase whatever kind of content they're covering. But people are looking to these dev Q&As to understand more about the game. And even artwork is a stretch. I'm not necessarily opposed to artwork because I like Raging Spaniard's responses. They're long and they kind of take up a lot of the post, right? But I like his responses nonetheless. I don't know what they're going to get out of an audio artist.
No.
I feel like their disconnection from the community versus like what happens in their little office bubble is slowly starting to like seep in, and people are realizing how bad it is between CG and the community. Like this community is holding the game together and CG is kind of doing its own thing and just like randomly like throwing pellets at the community like we're pigeons. Right. And people are still like eating it. Like that's how it kind of feels right now.
Yeah. I mean, don't get us wrong. Like, I think what the artists do is tremendous, and I think what the audio people do is tremendous. I have much respect for audio engineers. I can't even say that.
I've never heard their audio.
Well, I mean, just
they literally have a fart, a fart sound with everything in the game, and
just in general. I know, I'm a kind of a background guy. I like watching. I remember watching. The guy that created the sounds for Star Wars and watching how they do sound effects. I think that stuff's cool. And I think, people that put that stuff together is cool, but you can only ask so many questions about it. You know what I'm saying? And I think Finn right. So, I mean, the art is just the art and it's cool to get a few questions about it. Like, what was your thoughts and your design for a character? That's a legitimate question, right? But not 20 questions around pixels and stuff like that. That's the same thing, just repeating over and over again. It's a little much. So, I don't know, maybe one day CG, and they even said in their last Q&A, which made me and Finn just crack up, that this is not a good format. And we're like, then why are you using it? It's ballistic, man. It was crazy. Oh, Christ.
Yeah, I don't know why Crumb is doing it again. Like, he legitimately asked that question, and they're just doing it again.
Yeah. And we offered, and we've given our suggestions. It is not hard for a company like Capital Games to create a YouTube channel. I still don't know why they don't have their own YouTube channel. To pimp stuff, for one, and have things where they could do some live videos for Q&A and things of that nature. To this day, blows my mind away. So all right.
In their defense, though, trying to do a new form of media right now would be difficult. So they probably just went, well, we know how to do this. We can do this from our house.
No, I disagree. It's not that difficult for a company to do that. I mean, it's just a matter of committing to it and then just doing it. You know what I'm saying? But
I mean, there's another way to look at that too, right, Gom? Right now, everyone is kind of staying home. You actually have people that are going to be able to watch your streams during the day that normally wouldn't also. So, I mean, I'll ask you, if they had a stream where they were just watching some of the devs testing out content that is coming out, do you think people would watch?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they have opportunities here that they're not taking advantage of. Yeah. And I understand, they have to be careful because of just the company in general doesn't want to accidentally leak anything. So if they do a stream, it increases the chance because you're going to have that live aspect to it. But they actually have the best gaming audience in this game because they have bought into the IP. Not necessarily to the game itself, right? Because people can buy into the game and they can lose the game and then they stop. People bought in to the Star Wars IP, and the ones that are staying are just not quitting regardless of what happened to the game. So they literally have a captive audience that they are not taking advantage of. And they could do a lot more, especially from the media perspective, and even from the forum perspective, like you said, just post the answers. The way that they're currently handling it is horrendous, especially with the fact that Crumb goes back and edits posts in order to add responses to previous questions. So you can't even follow it if you're trying to follow it live. Those kind of things just make this look really, really bad. And I don't understand why he couldn't think, let's see. If they continue it the exact same way, I don't know why they're not finding a better way to go about it. But it doesn't sound like, because he said they're going to post it on the general discussion forums again, like they're making any changes to it.
Even just, they clearly are in the office doing this. They always take a picture of themselves in the office. Just stream it. I'm sure they have some sort of video recording projector, some sort of audio video equipment.
Yeah, they've streamed before for charity.
Yeah, well, I'm saying stream it. Stream them physically answer the questions, edit it to your liking, and then just post it on YouTube.
Yeah, you can post a video.
Yeah, just post it. Like, I don't know. I just feel there's no connection with them at all. I don't. You know, when Top Hat does a once a year radio podcast, pre-recorded podcast, you start to forget that these people are humans. You know, and I think the community perhaps would lighten up a little bit if we see them like in their physical form, like being themselves. I think it puts a little human element into it. Then everybody can quit being quite as harsh, maybe perhaps, you know, like right now there's nothing. I don't know. It's hard to connect with anybody that works at that studio.
Yeah, you don't know them.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to some more questions there, Finn.
Okay. Next question, Gum. Question to you from Buzzsaw VG, and the question is: was the knee-jerk reaction from CG last night the fastest ever?
Well, I'd like to think it was solely because we had a video, but I don't think. I mean, when they posted that post, I think our video had 300 views. I don't think it was, you know, but there's lots of stuff like that, and people, yeah, I don't know. There's lots of AI issues, and if you think about it, when they program the Ray team, I'm assuming. After testing this team several times, we did the video on, characters tend to favor and target 5s, which is probably a good thing. You know, preempt. You know, like let's just not let the AI. Let's not proc the Zeta. Let's just go after 5s. And then, so if you taunt with 5s, the Ray team targets him over and over and over again, and you've got the 30% protection boost and the constant taunt from Watt. So yeah, you basically have cheated the system. You've worked the AI in your favor. I'm glad they're fixing it, because that would be pretty cheesy, right? They've done this traditionally in the past. At least they're being consistent, right? Like, how can you fix Malick's Palpatine turn meter issue, but then not even address something for 2 characters that are way more difficult to get than the previous? So, I mean, at least they're being consistent and continuing to prove us that maybe not enough testing went into this, so we're just going to change it on a whim. We'll see.
We'll see what happens. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not a game programmer. I don't know how difficult that would be to change change an AI. Like, to change how they have. They've done it in the past.
They've changed stuff on a dime, man. Yeah, come on. They can.
I know. Yeah. Yeah. Like Phasma, they've changed. I know they changed her AI. Yeah, the Newt and the Tank Ray, they changed that right away. So, Stormtrooper Han, they got pretty quick.
Yeah.
So yeah. Oh yeah.
We'll see what happens.
The quote unquote bug to gas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They didn't change it because it suddenly made gas better since people were beating it with CLS.
Well, that's the thing on the counters, guys. After that, like, if you've got something working great, I would not invest any gear, relics, anything into any sort of counter right now. Maybe get the team ready, mod it up, and, you know, get something half-assed going because if you build a counter, especially if you invest relics, you start taking characters to gear 13 and stuff, and 6ing specific mods for them. If they switch the AI and how it works, then this team, it's a high chance it's not going to work anymore. You got to get something else. So just take it easy on the counters. You know, hopefully what you have is working, but I wouldn't amp it up anymore at all until we get some more information on this.
All right, let's get some more questions there, Finn. Seems like we get a lot of questions, so let's start going through these.
Yep. Let's see. Well, this is kind of a similar question. So, Ranger, I'll let you address this, and Gom, you can definitely chime in. So, Bill Butlicker asked, thoughts on the post-CG put out about the unintended AI. Do you think CG will actually fix this?
It's 50-50.
Kind of a continuation of what
I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, honestly, they could change it quick, or they're going to give us one of those posts like, well, after reviewing and doing an internal review, we're going to leave it as is. I don't know what they're going to do. So all it says is they're going to investigate the data, blah, 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 and then we'll have a response next week. So until then, I mean, it's 50-50. The past says sometimes they make a change immediately, and then sometimes they let it stand. So your guess is as good as mine. I mean, to sit there and say, "Oh, I think they're definitely going to fix this," I have no clue because I don't know how they're going to perceive it, and I have no way of knowing how they're going to treat it. So, I mean, you might as well flip a coin. It'd be the best way to do it because, I can't get into their thought process of we have a way we as a community view things and bugs and things of that nature. Seem to have their own way of doing it. So I don't know.
Well, this post also was very, very, very vague in what's wrong, right? It's just like the AI is wrong on Galactic Legends, on both of them. So, what we're discussing with the Rey and Fives mechanic might not even be on the docket, so I think you're right. I think it is 50-50 because they didn't tell us what was wrong. Whereas Gas, they physically came out in the post and said, we're addressing the issue of Gas, not reviving or countering or whatever it was. Is very specific in what they're looking at. This is super vague, so they can just do nothing and be like, nah,
It's fine.
If you don't watch YouTube and you don't watch, if you don't read the forums, you won't even know. You don't even know if there's anything wrong. Just,
Until you get run into it and you're like, wait, what is happening?
Well, chances are if you're not watching the forums and YouTube videos, then you're probably not even concerned about Galactic Legends in general. I don't know many, if all, any whales, Krakens, high-end players that don't, that would get Galactic Legends but not participate in those kind of things.
Well, you don't know them because they don't use YouTube, man.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. That's true. That's true. I won't know them because they're not on Discord.
Yeah. So, yeah, of course, yeah.
Good point there. Good one, Marie.
Hanging out, just spending hundreds of dollars, just hanging out, playing casually on the couch by themselves.
That's true. That is true. All right. Next question here, good old Maurice, to you from 56 Hope Road. Says, how much do you think CG will fleece us for Baby Yoda?
I'm kind of, and maybe one of you guys said it last week. I don't remember. I do think that the Baby Yoda and Jedi Luke are the ultimate carrots. I think they could dangle those in front of us for quite some time. I don't think we're going to get any sort of the child character. They'll just, I don't know. We'll get the child when we get Jedi Luke.
Yeah, I think Ranger and I had two different views. I was thinking it was going to be an untargetable sixth character with the Mandalorian, similar to
I agree with you.
The Arc turret. Well, you said that it would be targetable, right?
No, I said I wish it was because I would try to kill it. Yeah, that's different than when.
Yeah, no, Ranger's been going around posting about killing Baby Yoda.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I think he's going to be he comes in, he drinks some soup and raises his hand, and one of the characters gets force choked to death, which I think would be funny and pretty much spot on. For what you need to do with Baby Yoda. I think it was Arnold that posted a video that it could be Baby Yoda that is a Galactic Legend or something like that in one of his videos. I could have that wrong. I saw it popped in. I haven't had a chance to look at it yet. I don't think he's going to be a Galactic Legend. Luke will be, but I think Baby Yoda is going to be a character that comes in with the Mando, like you said, Finn, and does something like that where he just drinks some soup and
I just don't see. I don't see how they can make Baby Yoda targetable right now in the game. He would just be a character that I don't think you want to have attackable. I don't know what you think, Good Maurice. That's my concern, that he doesn't fit a targetable character for the audience. But I don't know. What are your thoughts? Do you think he will be?
If I were to have my pick, I would prefer something like you guys, another utilize the companion sort of element of the game instead of just because it's not really original. We already have Hermit Yoda. It'd be like the same thing as Hermit Yoda. Mm-hmm. Maybe offense oriented, whatever. But it's just going to be a small character that potentially doesn't do any damage. I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
Hermit Yoda's at least an old man. This character is literally named the Child. Yeah. You are literally going to be killing a child.
Listen,
as part of
for
this.
me, I wanted the event where
Yoda.
You went in as Jedi Anakin and slayed younglings. So my dark side tendency on this stuff.
I know.
Master Skywalker, what are we going to do? Oh yeah, I know. Let's get in there and get some youngling kills.
Which is also why they don't have that in the game. But something we call him Baby Yoda because associating him with Yoda maybe kind of moves you away from that concept that he is a child. And even though he's like 50 years old, he's still called the child. To kill the child in game seems very questionable at best.
That's a good point too. Yeah.
Imagine YouTube version like, all right, now what we want to do here is we want to target the child and shoot him in the face.
Can you imagine the conversations with Riemann on that one?
Oh God.
Geez.
Yeah, you miss all the fun we had the other day remodding his account.
I know, man. I can't believe I missed that. I'm gonna have to go back. I want to go back and watch it, but at the same time, I don't really want to watch it.
Yeah,
No. Watch it. Keep it on mute, right? And just watch Ranger's reactions. I swear it is the funniest thing. Like, you see Ranger go through a filter. Like I said, I was streaming, and then I came back and turned on the stream, and Ranger was searching for health set mods with health primary circles. And literally, you just see him, like, looking, doing, and then, like, his head drops, and he, like, face palms. I'm like, oh, my God. Because he had 8.
8.
He had 8 health set, health primary circles. Where there's only 2 possible primary stats, health and protection. He had 8. I was like, oh my God. I'm just watching Ranger's reaction to this. It's just like, wow.
Ramon's got them Gear 10 mods. You know, like Ramon really got into mod farming when, like, Gear 10 were your arena teams. Like, it's just, I don't know. Health used to be kind of inferior, I guess. Maybe he just hasn't farmed mods in the past 2.5 years.
Well, you would not believe how many 1, 2, 3, and 4 dot mods I found just sitting there on characters, and I was like, oh my God.
I watched you guys go briefly through it, right? When you did his gas event, I watched you guys you were kind of in a hurry.
Boy, yeah.
But this is, does he have enough 5 dot mods to fill his team?
I was able to do 10 teams, almost 11 teams, but the mods I did are not ideal. It was just what I had to work with, right?
No, you were on what? Like the 15th character, and he was down to like single digit speed sets.
Right.
Speed secondaries. I was like, you were filtering on ones, and there was like 5 speed and 6 speed showing as his best one when you were like 15 characters in.
Yeah.
Like, wow. He really has not focused.
I had to be really creative. But we got his Padme team going, and I almost got him to the top 100 from the 200s. I'm like, come on, man. You could easily climb with this team. You know, killing gas teams, killing Revan teams. So I made his Padme the fastest. Because he wanted to do Darth Revan, and I did the fastest mod set that he had. These are relic characters. Couldn't even get him to, like, I think the fastest I could get Darth Revan was 319.
Yeah, you might as well just go ahead and
I was like, well, that's not going to work. And I thought, well, let me try old Basti there and see. Okay, we're not even at 300. Jesus.
Yeah. I mean, if you're the slowest Darth Revan in Basla in your shard, you might as well be the slowest.
Yes.
Like, you know, you might as well invest your speed other places.
So, good times.
Yeah.
Good times.
Oh, looks like I know what I'm doing this afternoon.
Yeah.
Make sure you have some alcohol with you. This is so bad. All right. Wow, we have a lot of similar questions. So then Darcion 1972 asks, is it wrong I hope they put Baby Yoda in the game just so I can kill it?
Yeah.
Also, can we please get some younglings? Ranger?
What are we going to do? There's too many. Not for Ranger J 1999.
All right. So Darcion 1972 for Gone question. Some members in my shard are saying Rey can't beat Kylo with his ultimate, and I'm close to unlocking Rey. Any help with defeating these Kylos?
Unfortunately, man, I don't have very much experience at all with Rey. I mean, they took those test accounts from us within 3 days of me getting her. I mean, I don't have. I don't know. I wish I had an answer for you. I simply don't know. I don't have any advice for you concerning Rey.
They're wrong. Rey can.
Yeah, I mean,
it is. That's just wrong. Rey can take out Kylo. You just have to time your ultimate versus his ultimate stuff, and it was a little tricky when you had the Hux bug going on, but now that that's been kind of corrected, and you're seeing people having to use more first order now and stuff. Typically the way the battle from the videos I've been seeing and stuff is that first order all dies. except Kylo, and it's just Kylo versus Rey. But he can't kill the team initially because of Rey's ability to protect them, right? And then you time your ultimate, and then you have to. It's just the way you work. It's just like doing the gas thing, right? You time it to the certain point, and then you win. So yeah, you have nothing to worry about, man. On offense, Kylo will destroy Rey, and then vice versa.
Do you lead with her like protection up move, or do you do like a physical attack?
I think I have to go back and look because I haven't done it myself. So this is just what I remember seeing. I think you do her. I want to say her protection up thing. If I'm
in a weird.
Go back and look.
I'm in a weird position. I don't know if I should chase Rey or not. You know, like, do I want to do this again and forfeit anything else the next 4 months? So I don't know.
How's the top of your roster? How many relics do you have?
It's getting pretty heavy.
Then it's probably worth it. As long as it doesn't impact, right? Because that's really the main downside of going after the Galactic Legends. The raid team itself, right? Like all the characters you have, you can kind of find a use for somewhere. I think Rose is the only one. The other ones have like ships, or you can stick them on a resistance team. And especially once you get Rey, you'll have like a second resistance team potentially you can put together. Maybe as like a cleanup or something, but they'll have relics, which will work. But if you don't have a lot of relics at top and it's going to take you a while to get it, you're impacting your GAC and completely wrecking your roster.
I will say all of those characters would be in my top 80. Like all of the first order characters are in my top 80. Like Resistance Trooper at R3 is probably very fringe. So R5 would probably put him up in the top 80. I don't know.
Right.
I would relic until I had everything.
Well, you also have other characters that are relic, right? So even though they'll hit your top 80, it's not going to be like that huge like delta where you're like replacing a gear 11 with a relic 7. Yeah. It's replacing like a gear relic 3 or something with a relic 7. So the impact isn't going to be as huge, but your roster also would tend to lean you potentially towards people that have both as well, which is the other part. Because if you have that many relics, you're potentially going to face people that have both if they have an extra focused roster that had that ability.
Yeah, if I face one that's got both, I might be in a little trouble.
Just take it slow, man. I'm going to go slow with it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to sit there and go like ham like I did with Rey. It'll be a slow farm. It's going to be a slow farm.
Oh, I still got like Holdo and Ro. I still got characters that need gear 12 stuff. Like they're still gear 11.
Yeah, just
so
take your time with it, man. You know, I mean, you can even go into horde mode for a little bit, and then when you're ready to make the big push, you can maybe. And you know, I'm thinking about I have to slow farm some other characters like Sith Trooper and Huck still to get them to 7 stars. So I may go around a couple more of my teams just to finish them up, right? In the meanwhile, and then when I'm ready, those characters 7 stars, gear them up, get them rocking and rolling, and put them in, you know, and start working on them. So
slow and steady.
Yeah, slow and steady wins the race.
Okay. Next question. We'll go around the corn on this one. From Nathan H. He said, "What is your favorite Rebel comp?" Start with you, Ranger. What is your favorite Rebel team?
Well, unfortunately, it's the only one I really use. This CLS, Han, and Chewie, and we have fun with it. Sometimes I usually go underman with CLS and GAC and stuff like that. I mean, a lot of the other Rebels they suck. I mean, they just suck. I mean, you can put them on the CLS team. Like Jordan Bays works fine. Old Ben R2, or you can throw 3PO on there. I prefer 3PO and R2 on other teams, but you can't. But they just suck. The Rebels are awful, man. You just like the Rogue One team, awful. And then some of the older characters, I mean, they're okay, but I mean, they've just lost their place. Their kits have gotten old, and they just don't do enough to really do anything with them, right? I mean, Akbar, Lando, even Biggs and Wedge. I mean, it's good as a cleanup team if you need to go do something, but it's still not like something you want to use. I mean, Rogue One's just, oof, boy, let's not talk about Rogue One, how bad they are. I mean, Hoth Rebel Scout, Hoth Rebel Soldier. I mean, there's some bad stuff in the Rebel faction, man. I mean, besides the top end stuff, like You can format and a lot of stuff with CLS, Han, Chewie, and Old Ben, especially in GAC. But after that, it really starts dropping off there, good old Maurice.
Well, yeah, since you took all the good ones, I guess I'll go my old arena team. I'll go Wedge, Biggs, Chopper, Biston, X. Yeah. That could be like Ezra, Princess Leia. This is a long time ago.
I know. We're talking old school, but now today is like, how did that team work for you, good old Maurice?
Ezra works, Princess Leia, maybe Old Ben, maybe another tank, Stormtrooper Han, something like that. But this was I used this team when Baze and Short Trooper just came out. That's how because Chopper was so fast, you could dispel the pre-taunt, remove turn meter, and then Biston would speed the team up, and you'd at least kill a character or two. It was very good in 2017.
Yes.
But well,
3 years ago.
Yeah. But you mentioned the Hoth brothers and Rolo and stuff. I think there's a good chance they might get a little love.
Possibly.
Yeah. With the new ESB stuff, yeah. I'll say this, and I'll give context behind it, and maybe this is considered like a hot take of some kind. But honestly, I think what makes the Rebels a really bad faction to some extent is Chewie. And the reason is, unless you mod your characters so that they have more health than CLS, you cannot plug and play that team. Because as soon as you have CLS, Han, and Chewie, and you throw in somebody else in that 4th and 5th, and if they have less health and protection than CLS, they're taking the guard. So you have to like plan things out with the Rebels, where in a bunch of other teams, you can just like substitute things in and out. Like if you want to plug and play somebody, like you can stick Wampa on any team, you can stick Varys on any team. Like there's a bunch of other characters that you can stick on other teams and you can still make them viable. With the CLS team, you don't really have that option. Like CLS, Han, and Chewie are like the staple of that team. And if you don't plan for it, you're stuck with whatever team you were planning for, unless you went through and modded like every Rebel for health and protection so that they had more than CLS, so it doesn't mess up your guard. Like there was the feat, what was it? Not this GAC, but the last GAC, I think it was for the box, right? Where you had to have like Farm Boy Luke or someone to get the victory. And I went in with CLS against the bounty hunters like I always do, except I put in Farm Boy Luke. My Farm Boy Luke didn't have enough health and protection, so he ended up taking the guard away from my CLS and dying. Like my team lost against the bounty hunters because the guard switched over to CLS, and CLS got stunned and just like wrecked off the bat. So I think to some extent, Chewie makes that team very difficult to have any other composition.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
There's kind of like a weird view on it. Like he's one of the best Rebels, but he's also the reason why the Rebels faction is kind of like stuck where they are, because you can't plug and play them as easily.
Yeah,
I mean you're right. That's 100%. Like yeah, I mean you got to use an old dated character that doesn't have enough gear on him to get I mean like if you want to use something like Biston or Wigs and stuff with Chewie, it's damn near impossible.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, the Rebels.
Yeah. All right. Next question, Nathan H. If Lobot had a rework, what would they improve? Start with good old Maurice.
Just scrap it and start over. I will say Lobot has, I want to say, I'm just totally winging it, but he's got like a percentage health based heal, does he not? Or like a cleanse or something that does it. Or
I think
okay, for droids only, I believe. Yeah. But yes, I'm going to double check right now. But I believe it's droids only is his ability. But hold on, let me check right now. I'm pulling up Lobot here. Because it's been a long time since I've looked at his.
They could give him and Mustache Lando dual synergy.
Nope, it's everyone. Sorry, the turn meter is only droid allies. So it dispels all negative status. Then each ally recovers 7% of their max health for each effect dispelled this way. And Lobot gains 8% turn meter for each living droid ally, and droid allies gain half that amount.
Huh. You can keep that, I guess. I mean, but I don't know. Make his basic do something dynamic. Like make his basic heal, or like heal the team, or like I said, give him synergy with Mustache Lando, like a dual synergy. Because there's one of those assault battles has like a super Lando and super Lobot, and then like a bunch of like little generic soldiers behind them. Maybe you could give them some sort of synergy together. I don't know. I'm not gearing Lobot.
I mean, it would be interesting if all of a sudden everyone was gearing up Lobot.
Urs
would be like the happiest person ever.
We've done it before, gearing up nonsense because they changed the character, So
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Still saying Urs would be the happiest character or happiest person ever. I mean, he already got it with Major Tom and Galactic Legend Ray. I mean,
Major Tom.
Let's see. Next question. Ranger. Let's see. Next question from Nathan H. Could we see more types of Imperial troopers soon?
There are some, like, rocket troopers, things of that nature. There's some First Order stormtroopers that they could put into. I mean, there's a lot of different routes that they could go. Even with the clone troopers, they could add more clone troopers. So it wouldn't surprise me. When I think of original trilogy, we still don't have the scout trooper, so that could come in. I'm just trying to think of...
Well, what about the Mandalorian? Because this is right after episode 6, pretty much, right? So could you still consider things like the Flame Trooper potentially Imperial Troopers, or would that be...
You've got the Flame Trooper that was in Mando, right? Which is the predecessor to the Flame Trooper we saw in episode 7. That's a possibility. You could bring that in. I mean, the Imperial faction has a lot of different troopers that they could bring in. Rocket troopers. There's a whole bunch of stuff in canon and non-canon that you can bring in. So it's just what you want to do with it.
Does it make sense, though, from a lore perspective, to call them Imperial troopers? Things from the Mandalorian? That's what I wasn't sure.
They're still part of the Imperial... We'll call it the Imperial Remnant, So, yeah, I mean, they're still the Imperials. They may be a dying... faction, but they still are Imperials, so I could see that as something they could bring in. But really, if you look at any kind of troopers, the two factions that could really boost up their trooper levels is, of course, with the new Clone Wars content. If you haven't seen yesterday's episode, I highly recommend you watch it. It was incredible. And then First Order has a bunch of troopers that they could bring in and bolster the First Order, So I think what we need for Empire, you can add a couple of troopers more to it. But really the thing that we need more than anything is a set of characters. We need damn ships. That's the thing that is killing this game right now is we need ships. We need ships for First Order. We need ships for Resistance. We need ships for Rebels. We need ships for... God knows the Empire. I mean, there's so many ships that they could do, and we don't need... You could have some that are hero ships, like, Red 5, and you make it CLS a ship. Great, that works for me. You can also bring in just random A-Wings and B-Wings and Y-Wings for the Rebels. You can also have the TIE Bomber, TIE Defender, TIE Interceptor, coming in for the Empire and really round out that faction. First Order, you can kind of do the same thing with their kind of TIE fighters and stuff like that. So there's a lot of stuff that they could do. I think less characters. You can add a couple more troopers, like the Scout Trooper, things like that. For the Empire, you can do something like that with First Order and the Clone Troopers. But really, let's get these ships going.
Yeah.
You're muted, Finn.
Oh, there we go.
I was watching Finn do his...
I hit the button, too. Like, I hit the button. My button is yeah.
We'll take your next question right now.
Yeah. All right. Question. Good old Maurice from The Sedge. What is the best way to mod Malick?
Well,
I think it depends if he's 7-star or not.
It's... It depends on where you're using him. I mean, like if it's your arena team, or if it's like, or maybe you've got Gas, or maybe one of the Galactic Legends, Darth Revan is one of your secondary teams. It's one of your secondary teams. It's hard to really keep that speed on him. You can go very tanky and tenacious, lots of tenacity. You can go very fast. You can go offense oriented. Me personally, now that he is. I don't have speed. Like Darth Revan is now my second or third best team. I can't keep him at 300 plus speed really. So I've switched to an offense set, to like an offense oriented Darth Malick. Now that I did take him to R7. So I've gone offense on him because every time he gets one of those stacks, I forget the name of it, he gets 30% offense each time.
Ferocity, you mean? Ferocity?
No,
for Darth Revan?
The sun move. The sun. God, I've played this game and I make content. I don't know what the hell any of the abilities are. Where he uses his Force Drain, he gets a stack of X.
Oh, you're talking. Okay, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So and that's working for me. That can make him a little dangerous, but he is susceptible to debuffs and stuff. I think if it's your arena team or one of your top teams that you're focusing on, I'd make him as fast as possible and tenacious.
Yes,
that would be my suggestion.
Yeah, there's a couple ways you can make him super. You always want protection as the primary stat, and if you can't get the speed on him, just make him super tenacious. I'm in a position where I've been able to keep my Malick where he is. He's about 300 something speed, but I've got a tenacity set on him with mods that have protection primaries with protection secondaries, tenacity, things of that nature. So, but if you can't do that, then especially if you're hurting for speed, just make him a beefy boy. Get that tenacity on him, get that protection on him. Let them fear themselves to death on hitting him.
Okay. So we are at the halfway mark of our stream. So if you guys haven't already, hit that thumbs up. We have over 100 people watching and only 28 thumbs up. So hit that thumbs up for us if you guys can. I'm going to detour a little bit here.
Oh, God.
And I don't know, Ranger, if you can make my screen bigger. But
no,
it's a little bit. Oh, okay. It won't. Okay. Yeah, don't mess with it. So this is unfortunately a saddish week for RSG because this is the week that we were supposed to go to Disney and do our charity run. And of course, with everything going on with the COVID and everything, we haven't been able to do that. However, in a little bit of happy news, since it was supposed to be that weekend, yesterday I got something in the mail. It is related to the run, and I'll show you guys. I showed the donors and stuff for our campaign. And by the way, if you guys aren't familiar, we did a charity campaign for the American Cancer Society. You guys helped us raise over $19,000 for them. And we were supposed to do like our runs and meet some of you guys at Disney and all of that, but of course that didn't happen. But from the runs, you get a medal. And of course, all of those are canceled, except there is one medal that they still sent out. They have the virtual half marathon, which you're allowed to kind of sign up for. And if you run your 13.1 miles as part of your training and you kind of just document your times and stuff, you get your distance. Well, I signed up for that and officially got the medal for it. So if you guys can see it, this is the official.
Oh, that's cool.
Yep. Mm-hmm. It's a virtual half marathon medal. And the inner part actually of the Chewy spins. I haven't taken it out of the plastic, but this is a little spinning part. There is something on the back side. I believe it is a Death Star. It's hard for me to tell right now what's on the back, but there is. So we got something in good news from the run. And then there's also the pin that they sent, which is the same thing, except like a little bit of a smaller version. So I just wanted to share that with you guys because I know this was supposed to be the weekend that we were going to be celebrating and having some fun at Disney with you guys and kind of streaming as we're there and whoever was going to show up. But
I'm
again,
still very
thank you to
upset
all
because the airline basically told me I couldn't get a refund or anything, and they hosed me. So
we have lots of things to figure out due to all the cancellations, like many of you guys that had anything planned. So, but once again, thank you to all of you guys for that support of the campaign. And since he's here, let me thank good old Maurice as well, because good old Maurice for the last 2 years has put his body on the line to raise money for the American Cancer Society with his, in all honesty, it's like my favorite moments of the campaign, which is good old Maurice doing dances. It's just awesome.
Creating memes.
Creating memes forever.
That one meme. the whale horror meme made its round, made the rounds for a month. It still does. She still brings it up on the stream. But
yeah, that the whale harder was just epic, and I can't remember who was it. Dr. Feelgood that did it. I can't remember.
I think it was
Rooster. Okay, yeah. Rooster. Yeah, it was just wow. That was awesome. But thank you again to good old Maurice and to everyone in the community, whether you donated, whether you were helping us fundraise by donating stuff to the campaign, which many of you did. Thank you to all of you guys. We will plan something as a celebration kind of for this moving forward. For this year, we're still trying to figure out what we're going to do with the 2020. We want to do something this year. It's not going to be obviously the Disney run or anything like that, but we're going to plan something for you guys. We just have to wait for this thing to be clear and no more travel warnings and stay at home and all that, because yeah, that's not going to be any fun. So be on the lookout for that. But I just want to thank all of you guys. And since that came in the mail, I figured I'd show you guys that as little as I can.
Is that just, was it purely coincidence? That's the medals they gave out, or is that something they kind of did for you guys?
No, it's specific. I still have mine back here from when I did the for the.
Yep. They give specific Star Wars medals for different years. It changes, and each one has a different medal. Yeah, I have the same one that Ranger is talking about with the half Rey, half Kylo. One that we got for doing the regular half marathon. Yep.
Oh, you guys do it? Yeah, okay, that makes sense. You guys do it in Disney, yeah?
Correct.
Yeah, so that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. These are like legit like Disney medals. There was one I was talking to Farquhar the other day, and she was doing like another virtual half marathon with like a group. That's what they're trying to do for like exercise and stuff. So everyone kind of runs their own individual thing, and they're giving like these like knockoff Baby Yoda medals to everyone. They were still friggin' adorable, but they were definitely like not Disney approved probably for it. So, but yeah, so they did a good job with these. So,
yeah.
Okay.
I wish we could have gone, because then I would have had to. It was just I'm not dealing with the airline anymore. I actually sat here one day 6 hours trying to get someone on the line.
Well, Busta just said American Airlines fixed their insanity. If you both.
Did they just completely hose you, or can you?
No, they completely hosed me. They said they're not doing a refund.
No, they're vouchering.
They were going to give me a voucher, but then I have to go call someone else for it, and I can't get anybody on the line. You know, that's the thing, is that, you know, no one's working, so you can't get anything. I'm at the point where I'm like, I just have to eat this, because I can't get them to respond. I send emails and all kinds of stuff. They never respond. It's been awful. It's been the most awful experience in my life, and I'm just throwing my hands up to it, you know.
Well, you'll still have it. You'll be able to get it. It's just right now is definitely a really...
I don't even know if I have a free voucher, because I called the people to get my refund and dealt with that for weeks, right? Now I have to call someone else. I can't get them on there, so I've emailed them, say I need it, you know, for the voucher. But I don't know what they're going to do. If they're going to make me...
They have to. Just once traffic clears down, then they'll be able to. Yeah, everything is kind of overwhelmed right now with the people doing the same thing. But we'll get that figured out. But,
yeah,
again, thank you to all of you guys for your support.
They're turd muffins in my eyes. So, yeah.
All right. Let's get back to the questions here. Like I said, I kind of detoured there for a second.
Let's get some questions.
All right. So Marie's question to you from CL Vandalwick. Question is Galactic Legend Rey worth the grind? I'm looking at a July unlock.
I think so. But as we said last week and the week before, if you decide to go in on these characters, you need to go all in. I don't have it on hand, but I would get yourself a pen and a paper, get yourself a spreadsheet, or whatever you prefer to use. I mean, just and literally count every single relic material you need, every piece of salvage, all the gear, put it all on a list, and just as you get it, cross it off, put it on a character. I would suggest maybe taking your resistance to gear 13 and leave them. Save all the relics until you are able to get Galactic Rey, because what's happening, and even at my GP, you know, I'm 6.4-ish now. Not this Grand Arena, but the one right before Galactic Legends came out. I had some pretty favorable matchups because people had real bloated GP with like the Relic 5 Phasma or the Relic 5 Rose, like characters that aren't really that useful but are really high GP because of the relics. I would spam all the relics at once, unless of course there's characters you like to use. Like Finn's a good one to relic ahead of time. He's good for the Rey. Both Reys are pretty good. You know, maybe Holdo's good if you're using that capital ship, but it's, you know, just save everything until you're ready. That way your Grand Arena is not quite as overwhelming. It's a little more enjoyable. You get some more fair matchups and stuff. So, it's July is a long time, but I think it'll be worth it.
Yeah, it'll be worth it. These characters are super OP, and even they're going to be OP for a while. So, but you got to go all in. And it's a pain in the ass. I talk about the 4 walls and barriers you got to get over. First one is getting all the characters geared in Relic to unlock the event. That's the first wall you have to face. The second one is farming the tickets to go get the shards for Rey, which the drop rates on the tickets are garbage. So that's the second wall you have to face, and that's tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. Then you have to do tier 4, 5, 6, but wait, there's another wall. You have to get your gear raid, Zeta, and all that other stuff. And this is the same thing for Kylo. This you can put either one of them there, and then get them geared and Relic to go then do tier 4, 5, and 6, and then that's sort of the last wall, which is getting the ultimate abilities. So once you go down this path, forever will control your destiny. So is it worth it? Yeah, because you can see just how ridiculous these characters are. I mean, Good Maurice and Operation Metaverse talked about facing those and all those characters on the front line in TW, and it was not fun. I felt so bad for Tima. She looks so disheveled talking about it. But yes, it'll be worth it.
We learned more in 24 hours about these teams than we would have 3 months just speculating on it. Like getting in there and having no choice but to fight one over and over and over again. Yeah. With your quickly vanishing roster.
Yeah.
We picked up some tricks. I'm fairly confident I can take out a single Kylo with a multitude of things now. So I'm very comfortable with 2-shotting stuff. And as we get further and further, there'll be more and more counters. I mean, there are people coming out with counters every single day. We had Kiwa and Macias on the show a couple weeks ago, and these guys have put out video after video. I know Ian's doing a lot of coverage on it. Good, thorough counters, pretty feasible. A lot of them include gas and or watt. So if you guys don't have watt, it might be a little more challenging, or gas, but there's tons of options. I saw a Night Sister one floating around. That's one I want to look into because that would be great. That would be fantastic if somehow Night Sisters could take out Rey. So we'll see.
If a single Rey, so just as a reference, a single Rey I've learned you can beat with Geos. So if you take Geonosians, 5 Geos against a single Galactic Legend Rey, not the full team. If you're looking to just like beat her and you killed like the other teams, the Geos can do it. Completely under-geared compared to the Rey. Because I did that in TW. It was a Relic 7, turn meter loaded, 6 Zeta ultimate Rey with my Geos, which are like 2 gear 12s and 3 gear 11s. It takes forever because they hit like 2,000 a piece every single time. That's it. It's like 2,000. So it's a slow process, ate up all like 5 minutes. But Geos against a solo Galactic Legend Rey can work. So if you guys are trying to figure out some strategies in like GAC and trying to figure out how to potentially beat Galactic Legend Rey, there's your team. You can save your Geos for offense, and hopefully you can clear out the rest of it and then use Geos to kill Galactic Legend Rey. Other things, just go in there and just like freaking die. It's ridiculous.
All right. More questions. Let's start getting them in.
Okay. Next question is from Gav P. CG have a policy to only release info for plans in the next 3 months. Seeing a lot of us have been playing for years, are they missing a trick and not teasing or hinting longer term plans? Start with you, good old Maurice, and then we just kind of go around.
I think this is kind of a result. If any of you guys have played since the beginning, what was it like? Forever August or something, like that. What they did when the game first came out, they announced things quickly and ahead of time, like let the consumers know what's coming well in advance, and then they can't hit the deadlines, and then everyone gets pissed off. I think they've learned a little bit from their mistakes in the first couple of years about announcing stuff too quickly, But I think they're I think they've taken it to the extreme now, and just like kind of like I don't know. Like they're teasing it and being very specific, not to give any sort of date.
Yeah, that's a smart thing. If you're gonna, I think you can tease stuff. Don't give specifics, because if you put a date, they learned that lesson, right? they learned that lesson very, very well. That you don't do that. Because
3 months is also common, right? It's like every business giving their quarterly projections for like the next quarter, because it's really hard to know what's going to happen even between like now and 3 months from now. They have to put a plan. They have their roadmap. Like they plan ahead for 5 years. But to their investors, which is effectively what we are, right? We're putting money into it. At some point, we're just addicts. But to the investors that are putting money into their company, they really only can give projections so long before it's like they're just constantly missing their projections over and over again. And that doesn't look good. So quarterly projections is basically what they're doing. And it seems to make sense.
They did say
they've done a better job. I actually don't mind the way they're doing it.
They hinted at some stuff for this year. And then they're doing a little bit more specific things with no specific timeline for the cores, like Finn mentioned. I think that's fine. I don't think they're missing out on anything, and I think they did learn the lesson, like Gunnar Murray said. You go specific, boy, you better hit that, because people have expectations, and if you don't hit those expectations, that's not a good thing. So,
the community's demand for content is, and I've been guilty of this too, is semi unrealistic. This game has never been one that just pumps out content after content. The content has always been released in this game as a slow drip. I don't think we got the Rancor until like a year in. All we had to do was, the Grandmaster Yoda, maybe the Palpatine event, and then Arena every day. That's really, this game, the first year of the game, you could literally open it up, do your whole dailies in 15 minutes, and close the game down, not really have anything else to do. So, it's always been a very slow progression in terms of content. I don't know about you guys, but we haven't gotten the max stars on either of the new TVs. We don't have a cam.
No, it's impossible on light side. Light side is 100% impossible. We don't even have the GP in game if everyone even maxed out all of their missions.
I went in with my old new Relic 7 characters and stuff for the new light side TV and got obliterated. It was so depressing.
It took Super Kylo to be able to solo the newest raid, right? The Sith raid lasted way longer than the Tank and Pit raid did in terms of just everyone soloing it, and it's just a roll of the dice to see who gets first now, So it's we're ready now, but I think those that were asking for new playable content 8 months ago, I feel like that was a little unrealistic.
Well, I think the thing is that the people that I think not so much the content releasing is that the stuff that they put out and the expectation of the amount of money they want players to spend for what they get, right, is really where the rubber meets the road. Good, whether you agree with it or not, right? That's kind of where people get a little turned off and upset. It's like, you want me to spend all these monies on characters, but I have nothing really to use them on except the same stuff over and over again, right? So I think that's, and no matter where you fall on the issue, that's still an issue, right? So I think that's a part of it too, is you get all these brand new shiny toys, you want to go out and use them on stuff, but you don't want to use them on the same stuff you've been doing for the last year, right? So, because I think some of the things that was smart about when they did in the past with like the Sith raid and stuff like that, you got characters out of it, but you also had the content itself. So, I don't know. Just throwing that out there.
I do agree with the people that get upset when they refer to packs as content. They have a legitimate complaint there. That's ridiculous. Yeah, that's new characters, in my opinion, are. New characters are, because then that brings a whole new element, like a whole new team you have to figure out. Like figuring out your counter within your roster to counter Gas, a Galactic Legend, Darth Revan, and X, like having a counter that uses different characters, to me is very similar to 4 phases of the Sith raid. You got to utilize your roster and just you can only use one character once. Type of. I love Grand Arena. I think Grand Arena is great. Grand Arena was an excellent tool to keep us occupied for the more competitive players. Like I'm completely content with just playing Grand Arena, because I spend a lot of time on it. Like I sit there. Like last night, I had a really tough match. I'm sitting there, like, we're going back and forth. He's attacking once and then kind of waiting for me, kind of like there was no discussion, but like checking your game. It's fun to me. So I'm satisfied right now, but we'll see. We'll see how much longer it lasts.
I just hope they don't rest on it. That's the problem, because GAC needs a little bit of an update in terms of their divisions and those kind of things, just like they did with TW. I hope they don't delay too much longer on it, just with the thought that, yeah, people are enjoying GAC, let's just leave GAC alone. And it does need a little bit of evolution with like the GPs and their divisions, and actually increased rewards probably for people with even higher, because Division 1 is way too big right now.
Well, we have a we have a member on our server. Her name's Taliana. She does a lot of work on the Cam Shard server as well. And she every TW or every Grand Arena, she posts like a form, and you fill it out and you go through, and it's a very simple form. It's just like you go through your ally list, you go through your guild, and you just like the lowest rank that you see for each division, you throw it in the form and send it. Division 1 is actually a lot smaller than I anticipated. There's bigger divisions than Division 1, but I think with these Galactic Legends, that's pushed a lot of people up. Even if you don't have it unlocked, just the simple fact of relicking these obscure characters, pushing everyone into Division 1. And I think we need a new division, like a higher up division, right?
Yeah.
So it's just, I don't know.
No, volume-wise, that makes sense. Volume-wise, it's always going to be harder to be in the upper group, right? So you'll definitely see volume more probably down towards the bottom. I would probably imagine something like Division 5 and 4 may have like the highest volume, because it's easiest to just stay casual and be in that range. I think the problem is that we are not using enough of our roster at this point in Division 1.
Absolutely.
So like they need the new division so they can increase the number of teams we place on defense, so it actually makes it a challenger. You're not using the same like 16, 17 teams over and over and over and over again every TW or GAC.
If you have 8 million GP, you should not be on the same leaderboard as somebody with 5 million, right? Because the 5 million guys have much trimmer roster, and it's much easier to manipulate your GP and have a focused roster at a lower GP and just stomp everybody's ass. But whereas 8 million guys they have no choice but to over and over and over again play the very best rosters in the game. If you go 7-5 in an 8 million GP bracket, that's pretty baller, right? You got a chance at the leaderboard. But if you go 7-5 in Division 1 now against 8 million GP, you're not even cracking top 10,000. So I don't feel the leaderboard with such a big GP difference is a real good indicator of the best in the game as they try to make it sound. I don't feel like, I don't know, but we'll see. I don't know. I'm right on the cusp. I think I would maybe be like fringe of the bottom of a new division. So they can take their time a little bit. let me get a little more ready for it. But yeah.
Okay. Next question, Gav P. I have a Old Republic, Zeta Card, Big Z, Mission, etc. team gathering dust. Can it be modded or geared for effective use on offense in GAC versus B or C teams, or should it just be a cleanup?
The Darth team?
Yeah.
I think Mission and Zalbar are really, really good. If you really want to go ham on it and then you just deck them out, you can beat Night Sister teams with Karth if you use Wampa as the 5th, maybe instead of Juwani. That's doable. But besides that, the Karth team kind of sucks. It's a fantastic mid-game team. But kind of like the Phoenix is really good early game, Karth is really good, in my opinion, mid-game. When you get to the upper ranks, just everyone knows how to beat it. You just basically, if you put on defense, you give up 59, 60 banners, and just it's not very effective. Mission and Zalbar are definitely worth the investment, though. I think Zalbar, if you're going for Galactic Legend Ray, I think Zalbar is a nice option for that Ray team. For TW Grand Arena stuff, you can split your roster up and throw Ray and L3 Zalbar. I think that's what Loki runs in his arena, isn't it? Like Zalbar and L3 with his Ray and Resistance heroes.
I think so.
Yeah, Zalbar is a good tank, good plug and play tank.
Do you think that it's still good on? I see it getting one shot, right? And there's some fairly common counters to it. However, the counters to the Karth team typically drain you of some kind of important character that maybe can help you with strategy. So do you think it's still worth it to put it on defense? Because I don't see it as an offensive team, to what you're saying. I see it still as a defensive team, maybe getting one shot and 59 banners or something, but eating up a character or two that helps you with other teams Because it's not just about whether you beat this one, right? They have to beat all your teams.
Well, that's a good point. Like if you put it in the front, because you need like a Thrawn, an IPD, some sort of dispelling basic, some sort of constant dispel or way to keep Zalbar in check. Because if you get locked behind Zalbar, then yes, you can have a real hard time with that Karth team. But so yeah, I mean that's a good point. Yeah, I mean it's effective at draining certain things, especially if you see somebody use maybe like a Thrawn Empire team to take out Grievous or like Padme, or you see them use like the GG Nuke team for IPD. If you put Karth in the front, you might be able to drain members of those teams and stuff the other behind it. So yeah, that's a good point.
All right. Next question, Ranger Slama MC. Do you think Agna will get a rework with the new Mando content?
No. We'll get a new character, Krill, but we're not going to get Agna being reworked. I have spoken.
Oh,
I do like
favorite.
Quill is awesome.
I went on a drunken rant about him the other night. I love that guy.
Yeah, I know. I was watching when you were talking about how Nick Nolte would be like the best character to enter into the game.
Yeah, it's just like his special move
made me laugh.
I have spoken as a special move. The other team just turns around and walks away, and you win.
Yep. All right. Good old Marie's question to you from the Sedge. Because Lumi was the login character last month, and this month in shipments, or Lumi is the login character right now, and this month in shipments, Mace, Ayla, and Plo are in there. Could it be a Galactic Republic Jedi rework to make Ki-Adi-Mundi viable, since he has now unlocked, since people now have him unlocked and there is no use for him? And could they introduce a Jedi Council pack?
Ooh, Jedi Council would be interesting. Poor Cam. Like he was like the chase character. Everybody's super excited. Then these Galactic Legends just completely overshadowed him. Like he's not even, I don't know. I think so. I don't know why. It's confusing what they've done here. They've kind of slipped in these Jedi Council members in the monthly login and the weekly shipments, but they just announced they're going to be focusing on the Empire Strikes Back. I don't think they're going to do two things at once. I'm not sure they're capable of doing two things at once in a timely manner. So I don't know. I don't really know what direction they're going to go with. They came out and said, "Hey, we're not going to rework Mace. Sorry, guys." Okay, but then we're going to give you guys all these hints that we are. I mean, CG's take backs the other week.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hope so. We need a Mace rework. They did say something's coming that we've been asking for a long time. They haven't given any indication that we've already gotten that, so it could be.
Packs? Could it be packs?
Something you guys have always wanted. $75 mod packs.
It'll be packs with Mace Windu on it for mods.
Yes, but mod Mace Windu to his full capability.
All right. Next question from the Sedge. Do you think we could get a new second team or improved teams with Imperial Trooper teams with Flame Trooper, Moff Gideon, and Scout Troopers with the new Mando set? So going back to kind of the Imperial Trooper questions, do you think Flame Trooper, Scout Trooper, and potentially Moff Gideon could be considered an Imperial Trooper for a new second team? What do you think, Ranger?
It could. I mean, we talked about how they need to do some stuff like that. So, I mean, that would make sense, right? Add that to the Empire.
Would Moff Gideon be considered Imperial Troopers? Maybe.
Could be. He's like.
I guess Veers and Stark were.
Yeah, I mean, they're commanders of the troopers and stuff. So, I mean, they could do that. It wouldn't surprise me, So, yeah.
I think Gideon is going to be a legendary. That's still my guess. My guess is Gideon is a legendary. So that would be pretty cool.
I tend to think that Moff Gideon and anybody, the Flame Trooper, anybody that's in that show, and there's still a whole nother, we'll probably get a lot more of these Imperial type characters. I think there'll be Empire and perhaps their own faction. Because I was reading up on Moff Gideon the other day, and they referred to his little cluster of troopers and stuff as something completely different. Like they had their own name. like the remnants or something. I don't recall, but it's something to do with the remnants of the Empire or something like that. I could see them being a whole new faction. I don't know, but yet Empire. They could amp the Empire up, or you could use 5 of them for something else. We'll see. I definitely think we're getting Moff Gideon, and probably his TIE fighter that was in the show for 3.5 minutes. So,
I hope so, but I hope this doesn't end up like a Dryden Voss scenario. We were mentioning the Solo stuff earlier and all that. I really hope this doesn't end up.
And I'm scared of that as well. Like, I'm still waiting for my 7-star Woody Harrelson that I'll never get.
Yeah, that's never coming.
Oh, there's so many characters. A new Maul, Dryden Voss, Beckett, like all of those characters. Just that would be so much fun. All right, Drucifer 912, Gom, how do I beat Gas with the new Kylo more consistently? Also, what is the best lineup for him in Arena and for Tier 6?
Offensively, if you want to take out Gas, I find the best team is Kylo, the 2 tanks, crew, and First Order Stormtrooper. You use Kylo's lead, and then you use Hux and First Order Officer. I find that team to be the most efficient against Gas without the ultimates. That's what I'm using. That way you've got 2 tanks that whenever they get advantage, they're tanking. You want to build them, really, really tanky. I would even suggest defense heavy on crew and them, and the First Order Stormtrooper, and then the First Order Officer and the Hux are distributing turns back to him so he can really ramp up those stacks. And usually you can take out Gas relatively easy and save your stun. Use the stun initially, and then save it for when it's just, your team versus Gas, so you can stun him and just knock it out. The Tier 6 team, I'm actually using the team Arnold suggested. It's Kylo, Phasma, the old Kylo, the original Kylo, Phasma, Hux, and I believe I use First Order Officer as well with Supreme Leader. It's the same sort of premise. Just get as many turns as you can, and you just stun Finn. And then you use Hux. The timing's very important. You want Hux to go second, and then you can give the turn right back to Kylo, and then stun Poe, and then you give First Order Officer you give Kylo another turn. He can swoop in, do a little bit of magic with his stat draining. You want to focus on Finn or Poe, though, because you can't steal stats from Rey herself. And then just kind of, Phasma, Kylo, speed up, just manufacture as many turns as possible. I think they made a post. Actually, it was kind of funny. It was like, we hear you guys are having trouble with T6. Here's some tips. Relic your Kylo. It's like, oh, awesome. They basically gave like the most generic tips they could possibly give. But it does suck to go in there and like waste 70 coins. Like that's ridiculous that you don't get those back. Like that's tough. I mean, that for some, especially if you're free to play, that can take a week. That could take a week of farming to get ready for one battle, and then you go there and lose. That's incredibly frustrating. Otto's actually got a very good video on it. I would suggest looking through his Tier 6 guide. That's kind of what I use loosely, and it's working fine for me.
There you go. Next question. Around the corner, Nathan H. Do you recommend relicking Emperor Palpatine? Just ask everyone. Ranger, recommend relicking Emperor Palpatine?
Not unless you're getting Kylo.
Okay. Good on Maurice?
Same.
Yeah, I same.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's unfortunately just, no.
I would Gear 13 him, but then don't relic him. There's more important.
I don't even go that far. So.
Yeah.
Next question. CL Vandelwick. Do you think there is a Lando rework coming? That would be interesting. I don't really see. I mean, are you seeing any signs for it? I know we had some questions about Lobot rework and all that kind of stuff with Empire Strikes Back, so maybe it's with that. But do you think there's going to be a Lando rework? I'm going to guess no.
I mean, maybe. I mean, he is pretty big part of the Empire Strikes Back. Yeah. I mean, the Cloud City, that is Empire Strikes Back. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So. Potentially. I mean, they didn't say where they're going to go with Empire Strikes Back, but it's anything in the movie that's dated and not used very much. I would potentially see something. So I wouldn't gear anything up ahead of time. Like, don't take your Hoth Soldier to Gear 12, or don't do anything in anticipation. Just wait. But because you could be way wrong and then have a completely useless character. So.
Yeah. Next question. The Sedge. Will a new Ahsoka be coming to the game between Snips and Fulcrum, like the Ahsoka now, who is not a Jedi but on her own? So we know that, what is it, Rosario Dawson is going to be playing Ahsoka. Do we think a new Ahsoka is going to be coming in between Snips and Fulcrum?
I think them being, I don't think we'll see anything ahead of time, simply because they don't want to spoil anything. Much like they did with Mandalorian. So maybe after a few months we'll get a bunch of characters from that show. I wouldn't anticipate anything ahead of time.
Yeah, because by that time the time will have maybe passed, right, for their Mandalorian content, because they're doing Mandalorian content now. And season 2 starts when? October? When does season 2 start? Hold on, I'm going to look it up. If you guys, do you know? I don't remember when season 2 of Mandalorian starts.
It's October?
I think, October 2020 is currently when it's scheduled, which is going to be like 6 months from now. By that time, we'll have passed their Mandalorian pass of information, and I don't think they'll release Ahsoka until after she's at least in the show. So, yeah, I'm kind of with Good Old Maurice. I don't think they're going to do it right now.
I'm not sure they're allowed to. Would you know anything about Cara Dune or Grief ahead of the Mandalorian? You know, their kits basically, their kits could potentially maybe spoil the show for you if you haven't seen it, right? So I don't think they're going to do anything ahead of time. I don't know. We got enough stuff to gear up already now.
Oh, no, Minato makes a good point. Sorry. He's talking about the one in Clone Wars, not the Mandalorian one. Okay, no, that's a fair one. So season 7 Clone Wars, Ahsoka. Do you think they could add that one?
I think they'd be more likely to do the. Well, I guess when's the Kenobi show take place? Where is it on the timeline?
I have no idea. When is the Kenobi? I don't even know that many details about the Kenobi show.
But I know there's
no. But in the timeline of Star Wars,
it happens.
Is it between 3 and 4, or is it?
Yes, 3 and 4.
Okay, so basically after he's dropped Luke off with with Uncle Ben and the right stuff,
like 4 or 5 years after events of Episode 3. Maybe a little bit longer than after that, but they haven't really gotten too specific yet.
Well, so that would essentially be the same Ahsoka we have, yeah?
No, hey, Cubs is in chat. Yep. They're all saying it's between 3 and 4.
Cubs is in the hizzy.
I don't know. I guess if we got Ahsoka, you'd have to get her 2 new friends as well.
Yeah.
So, and I'd imagine those would be pretty lame characters. So I don't know.
Screw all that. Bring in Dr. Afra. All right,
and
I'm
the
saying
droids.
That right now.
And Mary
Dr. Afra and the
Jane.
droids.
And Jaina Solo.
There we go.
And
much better focus than a third Ahsoka.
I'm sorry.
Much better than a third Ahsoka. Bring in all those characters. All right. Next question.
He wants it, precious.
Next question, Elliot Worsfold. What are good counters for the Newt Ness team aside from CLS?
Thousand Lead Night Sisters.
Yep, that'll do it.
Freya.
Bugs.
Yeah.
Freya and Jedi Knight Revan are usually mine.
I usually go with CLS. Sometimes I just who did I use last time? We just wrecked the crap out of it. I can't remember. Usually when I get to that point, sometimes I'll use Treya because I'm just like, I don't want to deal with Nest. Just annihilate.
Yep, that's exactly why. I see a relic Nest. I'm like, Treya. I just have to go Treya.
Annihilus, just go in there, do your work. Good job, buddy. Slap on the ass for Annihilus. Oh wait, you don't have an ass. Oh shit.
Yeah, I think those are the main ones, right? There might be some other ones I'm not thinking of, but I think that's primarily it.
If you can afford to get a 55 banner win, I think Thousand Lead is great versus anything Newt. It's got a lot of uses. The Thousand Lead Night Sister offensively, but it does come with the 55 banner, and a lot of times you can't really afford 55 banner wins if you got a good opponent. So that's something to consider.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Next question, Agnati. I'll ask Good Old Maurice because he may be biased on this one. Good Old Maurice Agnati has a question. Which galactic legend is better?
Well, because your audio cut out.
Oh, did it?
It might have been on my end. It was like, which Galactic Legend is better? And then it was just radio silence.
That's the question.
Oh.
The question is which Galactic Legend
okay.
is better?
That makes sense.
Yes. The question is, which one do you think is better?
Don't know. I think they're. I mean, I have Kylo, so I'm going to say Kylo, but that's extremely biased. I think they're both very equal. They both do things very well. If you did go the Kylo route, you got the bonus of soloing the Sith raid. So, I mean, if you had to pick one fresh, depending on where you're in the game, if the Sith raid is still something you're trying to tackle, I think Kylo might be better. But Rey, I think Rey's the better team. Kylo's the better character.
They're both really good. I keep telling people there's not one better than the other. They're both phenomenal characters. And I don't know what else to tell you than just you're going to be happy with whichever one you've got, so...
I like good old Maurice agreeing. Is he just like, yeah, Ranger, I agree. There's not one that's better than the other, but I think Kylo is better.
Because when I do these, like if you watch Operation Metaverse, I'm super passionate and biased. But I like when people come to this show and ask questions and want unbiased opinion. It's tough for me sometimes, but I try to not.
Oh, don't be unbiased. That's why I said
I'm trying
I'm
not to be like a
you
first order homer like I always am.
Well, I mean, look, they each have their own ways that they're stronger, but that's like saying, do you want to get run over by a tank or a German tank? It's like it's. I mean, an Abrams or a German tank, they're both really, really good. They just have different advantages. So it's like,
I'm kind of with good old Maurice, though, that I think Kylo...
I'm sorry.
Both of them are going to be difficult for somebody else, right? But I have heard more people having difficulty beating Kylo with Rey than beating
But I've heard
Rey
I've had the opposite of things.
Okay.
It's
possible. That's what I'm saying. I've heard more in general saying they're having difficulty beating Rey with or beating Kylo while they have a Rey versus the other way around. And maybe it's just, again, small sample size. There's not a lot of people that have it. I didn't look at their mods or anything like that.
Yeah,
so
and a lot of things, too, is that a lot of them, I heard a lot of this was lack of the ultimate ability. That is the game changer.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't matter who you have. Once you have the ultimate, I don't care who you have. One of those is beating the other one because the AI is stupid. It just is. So, I mean, yeah. So I mean,
good is dumb.
Yes. But do I think one's better than the other? I think Kylo blows crap away in the raids. He's just, you can run that dude with like Hermit Yoda right now and go forth and clear a raid. Just much better than the raid team does. But I think Rey, it's more of a pain in the ass. And I'm thinking of Lightside GOTB with the ability to her characters not to be killed in one shot. They just have advantages, so, yeah. But if you think Kylo's better, I'm not going to argue with you. If you think Rey's better, I'm not going to argue with you either. I just think that they're both equally stupid.
Okay, next question. Solo Warden.
Star.
Next question from Solo Warden. Do you put Grievous ship in defense or keep it for offense in GAC?
I don't do either. I'm just now working. I finally took the plunge. So I will say defensively, it's more of a banner absorber than some of the other ones. Like if you want to keep your GK fleet for offense, I will say the Malevolence is likely to get you more banners than a good Rebel team. Because if you got that 7-star Hyena bomber, that can be a real problem. Like all the buff immunity or the crit immunity and stuff, it can make it tough. You have to call in reinforcements. The only time I would place GK on defense at all is if your ships are better than theirs.
Right.
If you guys have equal ships. Like I put my very best GK fleet on defense, and he 64 bannered it because he won all the coin flips. So I mean, I would have been better off putting something else there. Like so.
You know who I've been using? Holdo.
Although I haven't faced one in Grand Arena, I wouldn't really know what to do, to be honest. So
it's because of all the protection, regeneration, and foresight and all that stuff. It has taken a lot of banners from my opponents. It may not win, but I look at the reinforcements and they've all been called. I'm like, they had a tough time with that. That cost them some banners, and so I don't necessarily look at teams sometimes as like if they get defenses, that just really tells me something, but I look at the overall score and the average, and you can see, especially with ships, when they get a lot of reinforcements called, like, yeah, they struggle with that team. You know, that was kind of a pain in the ass for them. So I've been having a lot of fun using Holdo on defense, right? So, I mean, I might as well. The characters are relict and the ships are maxed. So, I mean, good Lord. You know, so I've had a lot of success with that so far. So I'm going to keep playing around with that. I think that's a fun ship to put on defense. It's great on offense, but I'm liking it because Negotiator's more reliable and easier for me right now. But yeah, Holdo on defense, you might want to think about it. Well, mine's way more developed than yours are gone, but it's something to try maybe in the future. It's I'm having a lot of success with it.
We pretty much completely avoided his question there.
What was the question?
GAC offense or defense? I think it's better on. I think it's a Grievous team offense defense.
It's offense, yeah.
I think it's offense too.
I faced one the other day and just blew it away with the Negotiator team, 40 maxed and stuff.
I did it the other way. So I faced a Negotiator and I went in typically with my home one, and my home one has like a 50-50 chance, and I was streaming it, and the chat was like, yeah, do it with Malevolence. I'm like, but my Malevolence and my like Hyena Bomber and stuff are like 5-star. Like, they're not ready for it. They're like, just do it. And it beat a turn meter loaded Negotiator team. I was like, holy crap. Okay. Malevolence is a good counter for against Negotiator. I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
even with like a 5-star Hyena Bomber and all these, I'm like, wow, that's actually pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So
Malevolence on defense, not so good.
I will say, if you see your opponent consistently using Finalizer offensively, and they put like their GK on defense and use Finalizer, then your Malevolence is good for defense, because the Malevolence fleet is very difficult to efficiently kill. Well, anything's hard to efficiently kill the Finalizer, but it's then it's a good play on defense, because I have a hard time. I have a really decked out first order fleet, and I have a hard time getting anything more than like 51, 52 banners against Malevolence with Finalizer.
All right.
Gotcha. Okay. Last few questions here, and then we'll jump into some fun questions. Drucifer912, I'll answer this because we answered this already, but he said, with Mandalorians coming, do I preemptively gear bounty hunters for Grief Karga or rebels for Cara Dune? One, no, don't preemptively gear until you kind of know what it's for. And two, they're likely going to be marquees, so you really don't have to worry about gear or anything like that. So don't do anything preemptively for these characters. I think more likely than not, we think the character that you're going to have to gear those characters up for is probably either the Mandalorian, he may end up being it, or you have to worry about the a potential Moff Gideon, something like that. But I wouldn't worry about bounty hunters or rebels right now for these characters. These are just going to be marquees. Solar Warden, question first. I saw your 200th episode. Congrats, crazy people. Well, thank you, Solar Warden. And they said, I managed to gear 13 all my important heroes. If I go for Galactic Legend Kylo, I will need at least 6 months. Should I wait for new content or go for it? What do you think, Maurice? So that puts him in about, May, June, July, August? He'd be in August by the time that he gets the Galactic Legend, if it takes
6 months, probably put him at September, October.
Yeah, he's at 4 months.
Again, I would just, hoard everything and make a list, get everything stockpiled and ready. If it does indeed take till August, September, there could potentially be a new Galactic Legend. There could be something else that's better, and then you would have everything in reserve to maybe switch gears if you wanted to. Like, if you're that far away, don't start relicking individual characters. Just save everything. Like Rose and Resistance Trooper, Resistance Pilot. Those characters aren't going to do you any good, even if you take them to gear 12. I mean, they'll help, but they're by no means make or break characters. So just hoard everything and just wait. I know that's boring, but you'll be glad you did if they do come out with something better. Then you're prepared and you can be on the curve instead of continuing to play catch up, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
You can skip a meta. You have to skip meta sometimes in this game, and
if you're free to play, you do, yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you're staying up to, but yeah.
Yep. Ranger, question to you from Solar Warden.
Yes.
He says, how do I beat a Darth Revan squad when the opposing Revan and Bastila are faster than mine?
It's simple. You put in your Sith Trooper. Because usually the AI, typically what they do is, so their Darth Revan's going to go first, their Bastila's going to go first. You've got your Sith Trooper, you've got your Malick, and you usually want to have like HK in there because you want that AoE hit, right? You have to play it to where they go first. They're going to do their moves. You can't really do anything about that, but you want the AI to be hitting your Sith Trooper, so that only Revan and the Sith Trooper get the fear, and then Bastila does her thing, and then you kind of have to play it from there. That's your best bet. You can't do any way else. So you have to wait until you can get your turn to go. Start with Force Lightning with Revan. You're not going to be able to get unless you can get a fear off and fear them all when your turn. But get that Force Lightning going so you can get your Bastila going with the big hits and stuff like that. So that's going to be your best bet. That's why you typically see stuff like that in Arena back in the day. Was a lot of Sith Troopers were sitting there. I'm sorry, Sith Empire Trooper now. Sorry. Back in the day for that exact reason. If Darth Revan went first, he didn't hit your Darth Revan and fear the whole team, and you were basically hosed. So that's kind of how it plays. And it's still 50-50 dicey proposition at that point, but you have a much better shot if you do it that way than any other, if you're going mirror. Or you just go with gas and kill it, but, what am I?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The other way, too, if you're not confident at all of beating it, right, you low-level team, drain cooldowns, and then go in with your Darth Revan.
Do that, too. But that's still 50-50. Sometimes that works, and sometimes it doesn't work too well. Because they get turn meter and they start going ham, and you're like, oh no, 1A.
Yeah. But they don't have all their cooldowns and stuff, which is your one benefit, that they can't fear off the bat.
Yeah, but sometimes Malick's got that turn meter, and
that's true.
He starts off and he's like, I'm just going to send your this character right there, and
cross your fingers and hope for the best. Yeah. All right. Next question. Drucifer912. Is Grievous no longer a GAC defensive team? Mine gets one shot with Relic 7 Grievous, 150,000 health, and lightly Relic droids. Maurice, what do you think?
Well, the problem is if you don't place Grievous, then they have way too much for everything else. If you're not going to place Grievous, I would highly, highly recommend placing Padme. They are getting one shot. It's just because we face it so often, but even the very best counters, one thing goes wrong and it's a 54, 55, 56 banner win, and those add up. Whereas if you don't place Grievous and play something else and it gets 60 banners. But the thing, I guess my question is, if you're not running the GG nuke team, what do you use it on offense? You can beat stuff with it, but I tried to use my Grievous team versus Bugs. That was a terrible mistake. I won, but it's 49 banners. They're dicey against Bugs. They work against Night Sisters. Offensively, they're extremely inefficient is the problem. So I think they're better on defense, unless of course you use the GG nuke team.
No, it's a bit. It's not so much. Again, you have to think about this too. This is a great point by Bill Maurice. It's not just about getting defenses; it's about killing banners, and Grievous does that pretty damn well. So it's a good
and
team.
Eating up teams. Yeah. It's about eating up teams that would otherwise be used somewhere else.
Yep. So force them to use those teams. Force them to lose banners. That's what you want to do. I use Grievous and Padme on defense for that exact reason. It forces them to use teams, heavy teams, and it makes my other team stronger because those big teams are out of the way. And I'm just trying to burn banners off the person, so they do full clear me. They're like at 1890 to 1900, and I'm going in there going wee. I'm using Malick solo.
Yeah, I mean. If you're going to, I would not base anything solely based on the number of defenses that it gets.
No.
Because the defenses, if you're getting one shot across the board every single time and you're not seeing a 1 and a 2 and those kind of things every now and then, maybe you need to consider making your defenses a little bit harder, especially if you're losing, right? If you're getting one shot across the board, you're not making any changes, and you're still losing, try to make some changes, put something a little bit harder on defense. But you also need to go to the GAC thing in GG and see what's happening to your teams. right? If they're beating your Grievous team, but they only have like 1 or 2 characters left, to exactly what Ranger and good old Maurice are saying, if they only have 2 characters left, you killed off 3 characters and their banners are shot, right? That's what you're looking for. If they start using a Jedi Knight Revan team in order to beat your Grievous, and now they don't have Jedi Knight Revan against your Padme team, for example, or some other team where Jedi Knight Revan could have done it, and they're getting stalled on that team because of it, then you're doing a good thing. Like, it's not just about the team and expecting the team because I have a relic, I need more than 1 defense. That's not it. There's multiple parts to it: banner draining, character draining, and then hopefully defenses. But all of those things combined is how you get the victory. So don't look at it isolated in just number of defensive wins and getting 1 shot. There's a lot more to it. And now that you can see stuff on SWGOH.gg, take advantage of it.
Yeah.
Look at your own roster and your defenses.
That's a fantastic, like, it's often, like, everyone, it's almost more important to look at their attack history. Like you mentioned, JKR, if they use JKR consistently against Grievous, right? Okay, great. But then you look through and you say, well, he also uses JKR against Night Sisters, and this one he used it against, some other team. What you want to do is you want to find all the teams they consistently use JKR against and place them all. And then, like Fendi said, you'll drain their option, and then that's when they start messing up on the simpler teams like Karth, like Night Sisters, like anything you put in the back, First Order, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, Grievous is good on defense, I guess, is what we've.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes.
It's more than just the 1 shot that matters, is what we're saying. Like, there's a lot more to why Grievous is really good on defense.
Yes.
Science. And last question here before we do some fun questions is from Solar Warden. He says, I hate Night Sisters. What do you use to beat them in GAC other than bounty hunters and gas? I don't want to use Jedi Knight Revan on them. It's Treya for me.
You can use Treya, and if they've put a weak defense, you'll see me sometimes just go in there and go Darth Revan, Bastila, and HK and just nuke their ass to the ground. It's pretty, it just depends on the defensive placement, but I'll look at where they put Night Sisters, and sometimes I'm just like, all right, put them in the back, or put them up top, or let me clear the south. Okay, they don't have really anything strong in the back. Oh, Darth Revan, and just go 3-man and get extra banners. You have to kind of see where they place them and stuff. If they're up north, or if you find them in the back and you've got some heavy-hitting teams, then you're okay. You have a lot of options, so you can go Darth Revan, things of that nature. So a lot of stuff kills the Night Sisters. Trey kills the Night Sisters. Gas kills the Night Sisters. Jedi Knight Revan kills the Night Sisters. Darth Revan,
actually,
kills the Night
Jedi
Sisters.
Knight Revan's an interesting one because he brought that up. You don't have to use Jedi Knight Revan on the team. So, interestingly, there was a GAC. Exactly. I separated out Basti and Grandmaster Yoda onto a different team, and then
Geonosians kill the Night Sisters.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you can put like Jedi Knight Revan and Jolie together, and you can keep Basti and Grandmaster Yoda together, and now you have 2 different teams that you can potentially use, assuming you have the Basti kind of worked out with her lead and everything. That is another leader ability. We forget that because Basti just kind of falls on the Jedi Knight Revan team, and you may not have the full Jedi kind of complement in order to even throw some other Jedi on there. But don't forget, Basti lead is really good.
Yes.
She's unfortunately kind of got stuck behind Jedi Knight Revan, and we forget it.
Not me.
But the Basti lead with the protection up and then the tenacity, the plague never hits. And if you keep Grandmaster Yoda on that team, he's just wrecking everything. Like, it doesn't matter. So don't forget about just breaking up the Jedi Knight Revan team too, depending on what you're using that team against. Because sometimes all you need is Jedi Knight Revan's main ability, which is reducing health, right? And I've used that against Nest. And it reduces her health constantly. Even if she's a high tenacity one, eventually it breaks it down. So you can use Jedi Knight Revan against somebody like a Nest because of his lead ability. You don't need Basti. You don't need Grandmaster Yoda. You can throw in other Jedi. You just need Jolie on there, modded well and everything, so he can just res all the Jedi if the other ones die. So don't forget about breaking up the Jedi Knight Revan team too. But yeah, otherwise Geos is a good one. Any other ones you can think of, Gone?
You can undersize with Padme. I mean, me personally, it's been a while. I actually got to use them this time, but Imperial Troopers are great. It's just
it's a little dicey.
Once you reach a certain GP threshold, you really have to commit to the Troopers. It's really difficult taking out Relic 5 plus Night Sisters with Gear 12 Troopers. That's not going to happen. You gotta take Stark up. You got to take arguably Death Trooper up, because what happens is the Night Sisters, Asajj, she gets evasion with her what is it with her relic, right? And so you almost have to relic up Death Trooper because he gets accuracy. Because what happens is if you throw the AOE with Death Trooper and you miss Asajj, she still has her dispel available, and she's going to take all of your buffs, and you get roasted. Like, so it's you got to basically match the relic levels. Stark is actually very, very good. It's a very obscure character, not what I would suggest the average free to play light spin whatever player to do, but he's very, very good in terms of benefit per relic level gear 13. That's not a very feasible team for most, but the troopers are very, very good for 59-60 banners. They're saying bugs in the chat. Bugs are good.
Yeah,
I haven't tried that much.
Yeah, it works because they just do their thing, man.
Yep. Okay, let's get to some fun questions here.
All right.
Ouchie, question: would you ever consider having Jedi Academy an hour later? I think originally this timing was set because of Warrior's work schedule. This is also a weird time to change any schedules because everyone's schedule is all messed up because of COVID anyways.
Yeah.
I don't think we're necessarily opposed to it if there's a better time. It's just been our standard time, but I don't think we're necessarily opposed to it.
It's something we'll look at.
We'll have to see once this ends because timing based on this schedule is going to be different than when this is all over. So
we'll see.
Utah, question: other than soon TM, when will there be a new sound bits to play? Soon, copyright. Yeah. Nathan H, question: will Kermie make more sound bits? He has a special set of skills.
Do you know how many I've made? They've got a ton. They just have to.
Yeah, there's a lot that are in the works here. Darth 1972, question: which new CG characters is going to make an appearance for the actual Q&A for the audio artist? By the way, did you see the name of the audio artist that's going to be as part of the Q&A?
Mm-mm.
So it's CG AU-D10. So AU-D10. Have you figured it out? If you look at it, it makes a little more sense.
I have to look at it, but it's not registering.
It's CG audio. It's AU_D10 with the 1 and the 0 being an I and an O. So it's CG audio. I actually like the name. It was CG audio for the audio artist. I thought it was clever because it looked like a droid name and there might have been people looking it up, but it really is just CG audio.
Sure.
I thought it was a clever name.
Yeah.
I mean, what? You didn't think it was clever, Good Maurice? I thought it was clever. Ranger doesn't seem.
I mean, it's clever, but I would like them to use their cleverness in other areas of the game, not their.
Okay, I'm not going to argue with there. Yeah. That is a fair point. That is a fair point. All right. Buzzsaw VG question: can you guys invite Sven to do some commentary on the Q&A? He had so much insight. I hate to imagine a Q&A without him. Yeah, that's going to be sad. That's going to be sad. Darthside 1972 question. So let me get this straight, Ranger. You spend over 4 hours of remodding Reemon's roster.
Right.
And he pays you back by dropping F-bombs and innuendos on your Wednesday night stream. That is what happened.
Yeah.
That is what happened. God, did you get a chance to watch Wednesday, Good Maurice?
I've watched some of it. Yes, I didn't get to see her the F-bombs though.
Ramon kind of went a little bit loose on that stream.
Well, we were all loose, man. I drank a whole bottle of bourbon for God's sake.
He went a little bit crazy. Yeah. No, Ramon went a little bit excessive. It was kind of weird. I hadn't seen Ramon like that. It was really weird.
Yeah, that New Yorker comes out of him sometimes when he forgets he's on the mic and on screen. It comes out.
Yeah. We did get the new phrase of the elliptical choke, so that is now a thing. Darth Scion 1972 question: Ranger, how much of Galactic Legends Rey gear do you have saved?
I'd say 90% of it. It's just getting me the Chirotex, but I haven't been focusing too hard on those. But I've got crystals starting to build up slowly, so I'll use crystals for that. So I think I've got 150 of each right now. So it's going to be the Chirotex, stun guns. I've got over 200. Those are the two things I'll know. I've got all the other gear. It's just the Chirotex and the stun guns I'm trying to get going. So be making an investment in those items here soon enough.
There we go. Next one, Bad Rongo. Question for Gom. I know you're always streaming pantsless. You've inspired me to Donald Duck it on all my work calls now. God, with your current Zoom screen, are you just buck naked now?
No, it's early morning. And you guys don't want to see what I look like. I got no shirt on, my hair sticking straight up. You guys don't want to see this right now. Yeah.
All right. Next one, Gav P. Who is the big black dude and why is he impersonating Gum? And does he know his webcam has frozen? Oh my god. If it was active, you'd be scared.
Yeah.
That is that's America's power right now. The meme.
Yes.
The meme extraordinaire. Yes. And yes, I don't think he really knows how to operate his camera right now. I guess he's frozen.
All right, next question. Next question for Gum. Can I blame you and T-Money for the inevitable nerf to my characters when CG quote-unquote fixes the Galactic Legend Ray bug?
Sure.
He does say love you, Gum.
Sure, get it, yeah. Sure, we're making videos again for the first time in months, so whatever
you make a video and there's a nerf.
Yeah, Operation Metaverse. Yeah, Operation Metaverse is going to become the new thanks Obama. Thanks, Operation Metaverse.
But that post came out immediately. Like, that was something they knew about.
Yeah.
They're not going to change something. They're going to make a post when some video has like 100 people that watched it. Like, that's not going to happen. So
I don't know. I'm pretty sure they have the game changers and like the regular content creators like just ready anytime they release something just to see what they did. Especially
I don't think they watch any of our shit. I don't think
I am guessing they do. They just don't talk to you about it, but my guess is they actually do. How else are they going to have any idea what's going on in the community? And it's too coincidental that so many times there's a video that comes out and suddenly there is some kind of nerf, right? We saw that with microtransaction. We saw that with Bulldog. We've seen that with I think a couple of things you guys have released where you show like counters for like the latest meta and somebody just like decides, there's an issue here. And they decide to nerf it. I mean,
Operation Meta nerf. Like you wrote it. Again, bad publicity, better no publicity. Blame us. So,
and if you aren't sure where to go in order to blame them, the link to their YouTube channel is down below in the description. All right, the last question, Helenix. If I want to troll a GAC opponent, how do I do it? Do I set only one tune, say Cup on defense? What's the best way to say I am playing with you in GAC? And like, does doing this actually limit what score one's opponent can achieve? Or is it like saying, you can't play GAC right now? It's closer to the latter and you're not letting them get feats. They actually get like maximum banners on all of your attacks except for the one that you have and they have to beat it. But other than that, you're basically just not allowing them to do GAC and you're not allowing them to get feats.
Yes.
That's pretty much it.
Don't be that guy.
I was that guy when I went for
I know
when I was going for Carbonite.
I know you were.
Yeah, when he was carbonating, but he was going for Carbonite. He wasn't just being douchey.
And the best part is I outdicked my opponents when they were doing the same thing. They just didn't understand the point system, and they only put one team on defense, but they put it in the front zone instead of the back zone. So I ended up outdicking them by giving them more banners. It was like the greatest thing ever. And one of them actually shifted out of Carbonite because of it, because I gave them the victory. That was like my favorite moment ever, because he put it in the wrong zone. It was fantastic.
I'm pretty sure my avatar can outdick anybody in the chat. Right?
That's right, true.
Well, all right, on that note, we're gonna end the stream.
That's
here.
right. And we're gonna get ready for some GAC. So anybody's the panel's welcome.
We have a lot of GAC action today.
Yep, because I'm gonna do mine, and then good old Murray's. You're more than welcome to come hang out and stuff. As we do it. So we're going to go right to GAC after this, and then Finn will do his GAC.
At 2 p.m. on Twitch. I will be on doing
Twitch.
my
So we'll
my
have
GAC.
that done. But do us a favor, hit the thumbs up on the video, subscribe if you haven't already. Gil Maurice, what's happening over on Operation Metaverse? What are you guys doing?
We stream Thursdays, 10 or 10:30, depending on the week. We did just release a video, Gas versus Ray. We go through, actually play a couple matches and explain what's going on. So that just came out, I believe, yesterday. We are working on some other counter vids. Kind of hesitant to release anything too specific with that post they just made. So we might have to kind of put a pause on those to see, because we don't want to release a video saying you can do this and then they change something and then the video is instantly irrelevant. So we'll see. But yeah, and then tomorrow night, Ranger joins us every Sunday on Ramon's show, where every week there is inevitably something very uncomfortable that Ramon says.
Yes.
so you won't want to miss that.
Yes, it's glorious. Just mwah. All right. So with that, make sure you give us a thumbs up before you go. Subscribe. Just stay on this channel. Just give us a few minutes. We're gonna rock over and go do some GAC. So it's time to continue our climb to Kyber. Even though we've been Kyber a long time, but we have to maintain our Kyberness. Not really. We're already Kyber. But we'll see you in a few minutes. So for that, if not, we'll see you at 2 o'clock with Finn for Twitch. And then probably some more stuff later on. So stay tuned, stay in touch, be safe, make sure you keep your social distancing, wash your hands. And with that, we'll call this one done, and we will holler at you later. Peace out.